women earn 87p to every £1 that men earn. That's quite a shocking statistic still.
Maybe in the next, within, I would say about 100 to 150 years is when we would experience full equality. My name is Angel and I was born in 1998 and I belong to the Gen Z generation.
I'm Sarah. I was born in 1989, which makes me a millennial.
I'm Pamela Bachu. I was born in 1965 and I fall into the category of Generation X.
My name is Joshua Almeida. I was born in the year of 99. I belong to Gen Z.
My name's David. I was born in 1982 and I understand that makes me an elder millennial.
My name's David. I was born in 1965, so that makes me Generation X.
In the time that I've been working, I've seen many more women entering positions of authority than when I first started.
Kind of shifting the stereotype that the men are in power and in charge.
In progressive firms, there are more senior positions for women. I think there has been a reduction in the pay gap, and I think there's definitely been more flexibility in the workplace with work-life balance and to accommodate women coming back to work following childcare.
I have noticed, I think, a lot more women in management roles and a lot more female partners than there were when I started.
Here, for example, there are so many women in my department and across the whole firm, and there's also a lot of women who are partners as well.
I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few women at a senior level over many years, but there's definitely, over that time, seen more and more women getting to the highest levels of the companies and businesses that I've worked for.
I think there's been an attitude change in progressive firms, allowing women to progress and be promoted to more senior positions. And I think if you look at those progressive firms, and I include Judge and Priestley as one of them, you will see that there are a lot of women in senior positions.
Steadily, over the period I've been here, the number of female partners has increased and the number of females in business has increased to the point where we now have a majority of female workers.
People being a lot more open about inequality in office spaces.
There's less surprise as well at women being in senior positions and being heads of department and partners.
Policy changes.
Now firms are forced to publish their gender pay information.
Extensions to paternity leave and the introduction of shared parental leave.
So when I first started working, I think there was almost an assumption for women that they had to really choose between having a family or having a career.
The extension to childcare provision, free and funded places for childcare provision, makes a massive difference.
We have examples here at Judge and Priestley of partners who have had considerable time off for maternity leave. I don't think that would have happened in a law firm 20, 25, 30 years ago.
How do you think perceptions of leadership and authority have changed?
Back in the olden days, it would often be that if a woman turned up to a meeting, I would turn up to a meeting and my male paralegal would be mistaken for the partner, and I would be assumed to be there to take notes.
When I first started working, there was a lot of pressure to be more masculine when you're trying to fit in the workplace.
In the beginning, people wouldn't really take women in leadership roles or in authoritative positions seriously because of their gender.
Do you think gender equality in the workplace has improved in your lifetime?
Definitely, most definitely, yes.
It's not fast enough and there's still work to do.
Generally, it seems to be better than it was.
It certainly hasn't equalised. I mean, you just have to look at the equal pay data.
What barriers do you think still exist for women in the legal profession or workplaces in general?
The motherhood penalty.
People take career breaks to have children. I think in some firms it is very difficult to get back into the workplace. After a lengthy absence, there will still be pension disparity.
Childcare, generally, the burden of that falls to women disproportionately more than men.
I would say the barriers are identifying that there actually is an issue when it comes to gender equality.
What role do you think men should play in accelerating gender equality?
Still, there are more men generally in positions of power than there are women. So their votes are needed to make changes that will affect women positively in the workplace.
Crucially, obviously, men at the senior positions have to support the concept.
There are such organisations called Women for Women where they also bring men involved. So I think more participation from men would also be helpful as well.
So men should ensure that women's rights are protected and that they should address sexual harassment wherever they observe it.
I think that there should be more of an open discussion with men involved, especially in boardroom meetings, for example.
Have you ever seen a great example of allyship in action?
Yes, I would say that I have at Judge and Priestley, particularly when I was here in the early 90s, mid-90s. The management team were a bit more old-fashioned, but we had a lot of progressive partners, and I would say Mark Oakley particularly advanced gender equality within the firm.
I've seen male co-workers call out when a woman's ideas were ignored.
Over the period I've been working here, I've seen a steady increase in the number of women being promoted to partner status, and I believe we're now with 6 female equity partners.
What's one change you think could make the biggest difference in achieving gender equality faster?
Improved paternity leave. Changing the role of men at home will really help to balance out the disparity between men and women's roles, both at home and at work.
Companies need to be transparent and open about salaries, and if they are, they could be held accountable if there was a disparity between men's salaries and women's salaries.
The main one would be having legal protection for women and ensuring that the existing laws are properly enforced.
Businesses closing out the gender pay gap.
Do you feel hopeful that we will reach full gender equality in your lifetime?
Yeah, I don't think in my lifetime, because there's still a lot of hard work.
I don't know if there will be 100% equality, but the fact that it's being spoken about is definitely a good thing, and it shows that there's room for that to happen and progression is being made.
My concern would be, I think there's a sort of a new generation of misogynism out there, which perhaps is in danger of starting to actually lead to some sort of regression in these areas.
No, I don't feel hopeful that we will, not unless something substantial changes. The predictions are at current rates, the gender pay gap is not going to equalise for another 45, 50 years.
Yes, absolutely. I think we'll reach full gender equality very, very soon, actually. I think we've made massive inroads.
I don't really feel confident about that. There seems to be a huge backlash online against equality and equity at the moment.
It's really refreshing to know that there are firms out there that don't just pay it lip service and actually do follow it through. And I think it's really admirable, and I'm quite proud to be a part of that firm.
Happy International Women's Day.